You shut us down, call us names, try to run us out. You pushed too hard, took too much. Now you're the ones who've lost their touch. You rigged the game, you changed the rules. Gaslit the world, played us for fools. But tides have turned, the storm is near. Cry all you want, we're still here. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. Censorship, lockdowns, all your control. Built your throne on a house of gold. Now you panic, now you cry. Tears don't work, truth don't lie. The games are done, the mask fell off. No more lies, we've had enough. You played with fire, now taste the flame. This time, we're naming names. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. You called us threats, you called us extreme, but we remember everything. From 24 and beyond, take your bets, 'cause guess what? We ain't done yet. Faithful, fuck around and find out. Your kingdom's crumbled, your luck ran out. Faithful, no more games, no more doubts. You lit the fire, now it's burning you down. When central power rules the game, when thoughts controlling freedom's name, when the governed lose to govern.
Hello, and good afternoon. How are we all doing today? It's a shame that the chat didn't populate the way it should have. Hopefully, you guys like. I'm going to start using that for my afternoon videos because they're more kind of politically. Excuse me, swallowed my tongue. Politically motivated, or kind of going back to the origins of preparedness, where we're kind of like, what is going on in the world? Before we get started, I know who you are. I know who you are, but I also owe you a poll. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. We got to get that poll in there. I was too busy jamming out to like get all of my work done before everything I was supposed to do. I'm being irresponsible. I was being very irresponsible. Let's see. We're also going to get the goals back together because we still, what was it? Yesterday morning we were cranking them out, but then the internet decided, nah, yeah, not so much today, guys, not so much, and so we had to stop that. But we're going to pick that up so I could try to meet my weekly goal in like 2 days. So there's our poll right there. There's our poll. And the poll question is, what's the biggest threat in a cashless society? Foreign government cyber attacks, non-government hackers, thefts, social credit purchase bans, and AI-driven spending restrictions. As usual, you don't have to answer right now because it's just not that important. We haven't covered anything yet. We haven't even had a chance to talk about anything. There's the sign. There it is. I I got to do something has been something's off skew here, and I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I will soon. With that said, let's go ahead and knock it out. Let's attitude, new girl, yes. First Pilgrim, number two, Bradley Collins. You are the turd. You're like the grand poobah of turds. Speaking of that, we're going to set this. We're going to click these buttons right here, and we'll set this for 1 hour because that's how much time I have to play. And I'm going to put, you know what happens. All right, we're going to try and meet those goals. If we don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it whatsoever. And start goal. There we go. There we go. And when I say you know what happens, it's double toil and trouble today because not only will you get the grand poobah of preparedness to make an appearance, but you will also be forcing me to start thinking about the monthly giveaway again. I'm pretty sure I did two of them last month, but hey, it's May now. So yeah, for my replay crew, hopefully I've got the little blue numbers for you in the description that you can click on and get right to the option, option E, power outage. Ian's always trying to make his own rules. He's always trying to make his own rules. All right, let's see here. We got Roses in the house. Ian's in the house. We got Kate Kim, German. If you guys liked that intro music, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat for me. It wakes the algorithm up, and it lets me know that I'm doing good things for you. Let's see here. And Alrighty showed up. Hopefully you're feeling better, my friend. If you guys didn't know this, Alrighty decided to wrestle with a Mack truck, and no one wins that game. Anyway, no, he actually just fell down. I just want to make it more dramatic. West Virginia Pappy showed up, and I think we are there. I don't know what the lag time is in the afternoon, but it seems to be slow. Normally it's about 10. There it is. It just kicked in. It's normally 10 to 15 seconds, but I think it's a little slower today. So I'll be looking for those ones to pop in the stream, in the chat. All right, guys. So I've been working on this one for a while, but I was kind of motivated. I was doing some listening to different things while I was mowing Grandma's lawn. One day, you guys will get to see a picture of that if you're a member. If you're a member and you're in the members chat and you're in the members Discord and you're a member. Looks like mostly the members are showing up here today, actually, which is kind of cool. It's almost like you have your own little chat going on here. But the reality is that nothing has changed when we start talking about uh, cashless societies. There's a myriad of you know um, evildoers out there trying to take away our dollar bills and such. And there's actually a bill that was proposed. I don't know its status, which basically says that the U.S. government can never issue uh, a uh, um, like a US coin. You know what I'm saying? They could never do that because they could never go cashless. They always have to have some form of tender, as it's known in the real world where real money is spent. So with that said, I kind of came across an article after I got done mowing grandma's lawn and decided to steal a bunch of stuff from that because it made a lot of sense. And then I put a bunch of stuff in there myself. So okay, so with that said, normally I yell and scream during these afternoon live streams about the nut bags, but they haven't been coming around lately, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, guys, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Surviving in a cashless society demands strategic preparation to address risks such as cyber attacks, government imposed restrictions, and social credit systems. China. Below is a comprehensive guide written in the third person. Oh, yeah. It's going to help individuals navigate these challenges now and in the future. This guide that we're going to talk about outlines immediate and long term strategies. It addresses disaster scenarios, emphasizes privacy protection, and provides expanded recommendations for resilience. As usual, we haven't been able to get to the expanded recommendations all week long, and it's only Tuesday because either you're doing a great job in the chat or I'm doing a great job talking about it in general. In general. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the immediate steps to prepare for a cashless society. Individuals should maintain a 2 weeks supply of food, no less. and water, obviously, and the essential items to withstand temporary disruptions that would be caused by cyber attacks or system outages. Now, the stockpile ensures access to necessities like when electric transactions are unavailable. You should have some money under your mattress, shouldn't you? Regularly rotating supplies such as canned goods and bottled water keeps them fresh and usable. For example, keeping non-perishable foods like rice, beans, and freeze-dried meals alongside a water filtration system prepares one for unexpected crises. Crises. I always wonder. It's like what's the plural of crisis? Crisis. I'm not sure. All right. So another thing we can do is diversify financial accounts across multiple banks, reducing dependence on a single institution. Individuals should hold accounts with different banks and use both Visa and MasterCard where it's taken. I was trying to think about the MasterCard commercial, like where it's taken, something like that, including prepaid cards as well. A lot of people don't talk about that. Putting money on prepaid cards because they're actually seen as debit cards and money and not credit. So, this is also going to help to ensure access to funds if one network fails. Now, an instance of this could be if a cyber attack targets a specific bank. Having funds in another institution or a prepaid card allows continued transactions. And this approach also applies to credit and debit cards, ensuring flexibility in payment methods. Something else to think about: purchasing gift cards for frequently visited stores provides a fallback option if bank accounts are inaccessible. So, as you guys know, I spent a lot of time at Wally World, and I know you all think that I work there. And I've told you 1,000 times that I don't, but somehow I keep ending up there without a blue jacket on. And so, having gift cards for Walmart ensures that there's money to be spent that is not associated with your bank. And I've never heard of a company not taking their own gift card. So, hint, hint. And by the way, if you have one near you, I believe Walmart gift cards are accepted at Murphy's gas stations, which generally tend to be the gas station of choice for Walmart. Now you know that. So these cards allow individuals to buy goods for specific retailers during disruptions, though they may face store level restrictions such as rationing that could happen. Another example is a gift card from a local grocery chain can secure food purchases, but individuals should verify the card's terms to avoid expiration or usage limits. Interesting. Something else we can do is maintain a paper-based address book with account details and contact information for utilities and creditors. And it's kind of crucial for managing payments during outages. Now, is going to ensure individuals can communicate with service providers to explain delays or arrange alternative payment methods. There's something called in good faith, something you didn't happen the way it normally does. And you can only give these people a call and say, listen, I really tried to do this, 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 and this. I'd really like to give you some money. What are the alternatives? Oh, by the way, you can do this. There you go. Now, for instance, having the phone number of a utility company allows one to negotiate payments if electronic systems are down. Also, installing apps that enable Wi-Fi based calls, independent of SIM cards. This ensures communications during mobile network failures. These apps allow individuals to contact essential services or family members during an internet connection, or I'm sorry, using an internet connection. For example, apps like WhatsApp or Signal can facilitate calls over Wi-Fi and bypassing cellular network issues, provided a stable internet source is available. The one thing that I tell people is that, oh, by the way, let's find out. Let's find out. It says there are 15 people in here. I expect 15 people to answer this. Put a number 1 in the chat if you have a Google phone number. Put a number 2 in the chat if you do not have a Google phone number. Why am I asking this question? Because one, they're absolutely free. Two, they work on your phone via Wi Fi. Three, you can actually make phone calls from your PC computer using using your Google account. Not a joke. Do it all the time. That's right. You wish you knew my number. So while you're doing that, I'm not drinking coffee right now because I needed a little bit of more of a punch. So I'm grabbing me a Red Bull. So I see a lot of number twos. I see a lot of number twos. It doesn't mean anything's bad. It just means that I have enlightened you. Ha 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 ha. Get online, get yourself a free Google phone number, start using it. You only have to use it one time a month to keep it activated. For free and clear. I make phone calls all the time from the command center PC back there. So all right, so those are the short-term strategies. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the chat. I don't think there's a lot of stuff in there. What you guys are doing your afternoon. You guys think that this is after lunch lazy time. I don't want to work anymore because I eat a sandwich and I Prepper Don's Prepper Don, don't recognize you. Welcome to the channel, bro. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I had my voice number for Google for 10 years now. Yes, I've had several of them. The problem with them is if you don't use them at least once a month, then they'll shut it down. But they'll send you emails and say, hey, Bo, by the way, it's time to do something. Also, you can actually send text messages through that through Google Voice. Pretty awesome. And it's free. And it's free. And here's the funny thing. You can actually tell it, it's going to ask you like what state you're in, and you can give, or what state do you want your phone to be registered, your phone to be registered in. You can like tell it another state. And when it pops up, yeah, there you go. Okay, let's see here. Pamlico Prepper. Good to see you, bro. Let's see. All right. Long term. Those were the short term strategies. Okay, those are like what you needed if things heat up in the world and everybody starts talking about CBDCs and all sorts of stupid crap. When our governments are start going, oh, we think it's great. Oh, it's a great idea. Then you might want to activate some of those things. Now, long term, long term stuff. The long term strategies are just a little bit different, and it's more about setting things up for the future as well as just talking about stuff. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to the chat view, and hopefully the chat rolls over there. And the chat did not roll over there. So you know what that means? No, we're not going to do that yet. We're not going to do that yet. We still have 7 minutes until I have to activate America power. All right, so let's go ahead and get into long-term strategies. If you guys would like to help me out by asking some questions or putting something in the chat so that it pops, so that it populates this thing over here. That would be great. That way it looks kind of cool. All right, guys, let's see here. Establish long-term strategies. Now, establishing bartering networks with local farmers, small businesses, and flea markets prepares individuals for a cashless economy where electronic transactions may be restricted. I want to put a pause on it right there because a lot of people don't ever barter anymore. They don't negotiate. It's like you go to the that's good. There you go, Rose. Appreciate you. You go to the local swap meet, flea market, whatever you guys want to call it, okay? And the first thing you do is you say, "How much?" You're already like doing like a monetary thing. You know what I'm saying? Just for once, ask them, do you guys do barter? And they might ask you what it is. Okay. It's like, well, barter is like where I have something that you want and you have something that I want, and then willing to trade. And they'll be like, what you got? You know what I'm saying? And then at that time, make sure you have something in your brain housing group, like maybe it's something in the car that you brought to barter with, you know, and say, yeah, I would love to get my hands on this knickknack you've got on the table here, but I'd like to barter for it. And then they might tell you to go pound sand because all they care about is money. But the reality is that a lot of them don't even know about bartering. Rose says, do it at antique shops. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have a friend who owns an antique shop, and we barter stuff all the damn time. All the time. And in fact, he knows my personal desires. He knows what I like. And so he'll be like, "Hey, I really like this, and you really like that. Let's make a trade." And if it's something we both like, then it's normally a good trade. It's normally a good trade. All right, so we talked about that, and let's see here. We want to be building relationships where these groups ensures access to goods or services through trade, like trade, like you give me this, I give you that. For example, offering mechanical repairs or homemade goods in exchange for produce from a farmer, creates a mutually beneficial agreement. The individuals should identify the needs of potential trade partners to offer valuable skills or items. Also, you might want to start thinking about developing high value skills such as mechanical repair, sewing, or gardening. This is going to enhance your ability to barter in a disrupted economy. Now, these skills provide tangible benefits to trade partners, increasing the likelihood of successful exchanges. For instance, learning to repair small engines can be traded for food or tools, while gardening skills can yield produce to share or barter. Now, there are online courses or community workshops, and these can help individuals acquire these skills over time. And it's something that I would say go ahead and you might want to go check that out. You might want to go check that out. All right. So the next thing is monitoring privacy risks associated with merchant category codes and social credit systems is essential to avoiding profiling. Now, we have not experienced this in America. If you remember, they tried to do that. The lefties tried to do this. And basically say, "Hey, let's not sell. Those are pew pew. You can't buy no pew pew with your Visa." And we were actually experiencing problems with it. But those MCCs do actually exist. So, and then also think about that with the cards that you're using when you use them, because you might want to make purchases like that with like real credit cards, not your debit cards, and not a credit card issued by a bank. You see where I'm going with that? I hope so. You see. Hopefully, you're tracking. All right, let's see here. And this enables banks or governments to monitor your spending habits, which should not be happening. Now, individuals should be using prepaid cards or gift cards for sensitive transactions to minimize data collections. For example, buying medical supplies with a prepaid card reduces the risks of being flagged for health-related purchases. Now, regularly reviewing bank statements for unusual activity also helps detect potential tracking. How many people here actually read their bank statements? Or have we gone so paperless? Have you gone paperless because you don't want to get charged $2 a month? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Next thing is preparing for social credit pressure campaigns requires stockpiling enough essentials to outlast government restrictions, such as purchase bans for noncompliance with mandates. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about our government starting to make rules about not buying certain things because it doesn't meet with their agenda. We were really going down this dystopian path, under Captain Blue Tie. But now that we're under Captain Red Tie, there's no pressure. But that doesn't mean that there's not an underlying current that's just waiting to pick us up under the next Blue Tie mandate. So be aware. A 3 to 6 month supply of food, water, and other necessities provides a buffer against prolonged campaigns. For example, storing bulk grains, powdered milk, and hygiene products ensures self sufficiency. Individuals should also consider alternative energy sources like solar chargers to maintain access to power during disruptions. Yes, we've all seen the disruptions in our world, and they are ugly, ugly, ugly. All right, I'm gonna go to the chat here real quick here. Okay, I'm here just on the notification and been driving, so I lost track of time. You're all right, Bradley. You're good to go. Let's see. Start over. Gone too far without me, and I'm the center of the whole world. Yes, I know, right? Everybody knows Bradley's the center of the whole world. Oh my God. All right. Well, I tell you what, Bradley. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put in the chat. If you love your country, okay, I'm gonna drink some Red Bull. I'm going to talk some smack. I'm going to read you some stuff because it's an educational channel. Twice as much medication just by adding $20 to the price of the Jace case. Not a joke. What are they adding? What are some new additions that you can add? Methyl prednisone, odanstetrun, triamcinolone, Cellucolic X, and loperamide. Yeah, I can't read this stuff, guys. I can't read this stuff. That's why you need to go to jacemedical.com and look at this stuff. There's a link in the description. Go down there. Don't forget to use my code, and you shall save some money. I always like getting twice as much for only 20 bucks added to it. And my code will help you save, I don't know, how much does my code help you save? 10%. 10%, which is pretty freaking awesome if you think about what you're getting. And also, let's not forget that all the Chinese ships got turned around. So there's a lot of medications that aren't heading our way. And thank God they have their own pharmacy. Don't care where they get their drugs from as long as they give them to us. All right, bills paid. Okay, we're back in the chat mode, which I kind of like a little bit more because you can actually like see everybody talking. Internet issues are happening again. Really? Let me see here. It says I have an excellent connection. I like it. It's on your side. Sorry. I did make some tweaking of the internet knobs for my streaming software. Let's see. Let's see. I just closed out and opened back up. No issues since. Gotcha. Um, but I did make some tweakings of the internet protocol, uh, uh, internet stuffs. It's not a joke. I really did. But it's I want to explain to you what I did, but it's like super geeky, and you guys will not enjoy it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So, oh dang, staying informed about developments in government backed cryptocurrencies and AI driven transaction monitoring helps individuals anticipate spending restrictions. For instance, AI system may flag purchases deemed abnormal or link individuals to government lists, such as no-fly lists, limiting their ability to buy certain goods. Now, subscribing to technology news outlets or joining privacy-focused online communities can provide early warning about such systems, allowing proactive adjustments. With that said, we need to talk about navigating disaster scenarios. Hmm. First one is cyber attacks by foreign government may cause temporary outages lasting hours to days, disrupting access to electronic funds. Individuals should rely on stockpiled essentials and alternative payment methods, such as gift cards, to manage during these periods. For example, a prepaid grocery card can cover food needs while banks restore services. Keep a small emergency fund in a separate account also provides a buffer. Non-government cyber attacks is a different story, such as account theft. It may take weeks to resolve, requiring individuals to freeze accounts immediately and use backup cards or bartering to meet needs. You don't know how many times it's like you almost don't care what you lose that's in your wallet. But if you lose that your main bank card, like access to your money, you're like that is the one that makes you worry the most when you lose that wallet, when you leave that cell phone carrier that has your whole life in cards inside of it, when you leave it someplace accidentally. Yeah. Now, an instance of this is if a hacker drains a bank account. A prepaid card or bartered goods can cover essentials, while the individual works with the bank to recover those funds. And most banks will like immediately freeze the card, see that something's happening, even notify you without even asking you to freeze the card. Um, but and then you can just say, "Hey, no, that's fraud," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they're normally pretty quick to get the money back to you if they did empty your account, which is why you should never do some crazy stuff like when you rent. This is just LP advice now. When you rent a hotel or a rental car, or you're out on the town, maybe you're on a vacation, never use your debit card. Always use a full blown credit card. And then when you're done with your vacation or wherever you're going, just pay it off. That way, if something goes wrong, you have the strength, the protections of a credit card is it's not about money, it's about credit, right? The protections on those cards are drastically more powerful. And so, yeah, they kill your card, whatever. You get a new credit card, and you still have all the money in your bank account. If they get rid, if somebody gets your bank account and your debit card, then that money's gone, and very few banks will put it back. Credit unions are really good at putting it back, but that's a whole different live stream. So, maintaining strong cybersecurity practices like using unique passwords or enabling two-factor authentication reduce the risks of such attacks. I see you guys have some stuff in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and break away and check that out. I think it's also a good time to check the poll as well. Let's see here. No, we saw buffering for a moment on your end. Did you try circuiting the short circuit, or did you make it a long circuit? I rubbed it as hard and fast as I could, and everything's fine now. Everything is so much more relaxed. So that's what I did, Bradley. Rose says the banking surveillance survey can suck. Was out of town for months, no problems, till I needed to travel home, blocked my gas refill, had to call a bank and bitch them out. Yeah, I mean it can be a pain in the butt. It can be a pain in the butt. I was on a vacation. Uh, um, I was coming back from Florida and pulled over to get gas, and I could not um, use my bank card, and that is because somebody had done a swipe on my card. Um, they got my card information from the Love's truck stop that was several hours down the road when we stopped to get lunch. That's when they got it, and so they killed the card. But they didn't say one word to me. I literally like the card wouldn't work in the gas station. These are lessons. These are life lessons that I have learned, and I'm now relaying to you. But and so I basically the card's dead. I can't get gas, so I whip out a credit card, which is what I've been should have been using the entire trip. Got the gas, and then had the whiff freaking drive while I called the bank and say what the hell, and then they were like explaining to me what happened, and I was like, what am I getting a card in 7 to 10 business days, sir? Son of a. Anyway, but better safe than sorry, right? Better safe than sorry. All right, so let's also talk about. Oh, you know what? We didn't check the poll yet. The poll says, "What's the biggest threat in a cashless society?" 60% say social credit purchase bans. 33% say AI-driven spending restrictions. 7% say foreign government cyber attacks, and 0% say non-government hacker theft. That's interesting. The militarists showed up. What's going on? Let's see here. I ain't taking part of a cash. I ain't taking part in no cashless society. I ain't doing it, man. I ain't doing it. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Make sure you. What am I saying? You're a subscriber. Jeez. Why aren't you a member? That's the real question. Do you see all those bricks and blocks that are next to all those names? Those are all members. Yeah. Why aren't you a member? You're always here, man. Anyway, let's see here. So let's talk about hacktivist disruptions. Now, hacktivist disruptions are similar to those by groups targeting organizations for ideological reasons. They may block transactions based on affiliations, or perceived social credit scores. Diversifying accounts and using cash alternatives where still available help bypass these restrictions. For example, gift card from a local hardware store can secure tools if a bank transaction is declined due to a hacktivist account. Now, monitoring news about cyber activism can help individuals anticipate potential targets. That's right. That's right. All right. So let's talk about AI driven social credit terms. They're integrated with the government lists or behavioral data, and that may restrict purchases for individuals flagged for political or social reasons. Building self sufficiency through stockpiling and bartering reduces reliance on tracked systems. For instance, growing a small vegetable garden or storing bulk supplies can sustain a household if AI systems limit food purchases. And I don't think anybody's ever thought about that before. Like, if the HAL 9000 is ever asked, if Dave ever goes, Hal, how can we slow down these purchases? Well, Dave, you can limit their purchases of certain products. Can you make a list of those products? Well, yes, I can, Dave. Can you connect those to the financial system and say that they can only take three or four of those? Well, yes, I can, Dave. Why don't you go ahead and do that for me? And in a microsecond, the AI that's within the system, and believe me, I use AI every day. It's unbelievably powerful. It does things that you don't understand. Okay. And it surprises every single time. But the, and in that microsecond, that decision was made by a person to use the capabilities of the AI so that, yeah, you can only buy three tomatoes a week. It's really quite scary. But engaging with engaging with privacy advocacy groups can provide strategies to challenge those kinds of restriction. We're going to talk about privacy and data protection in a second, but I'm going to look at the chat here real quick here. That's what China is doing. Yes, militarist. China is actively doing that. The lamestream media will deny it all day long, but there's way too many documentaries that actually show it happening, and there's way too many human proof sources in China that have come out and basically, hey, I can't travel to the next, I can't get on a train or a bus to leave this town because I said something bad about the government. It's a real thing. It does exist, and we should never allow it to happen here in the United States. Rose says they would have had that during that thing we can't talk about. uh, we wouldn't have had the run of all the grocery stores as it is. Rose, you should be very surprised to know that there was a lot of talk within our government as they gained more power and took away more rights from us because of the emergency. All right, this giant cold, this super flu, that didn't kill as many people as they want to let on. Um, they contemplated doing exactly these things. That the old term, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's very true. And when you have the wrong people in the wrong seats, and you allow them to tell you, you remember that feeling you had when they said, "Hey, it's what's 14 days to clear the spread or something like that, to bend the curve or straighten the curve or something like that." And you're like, "Hey, I can do that. We can do that. We're Americans. We can do that." And when that time came and went, they were like, "Well, maybe another 14 days. Uh, we're not sure." And then people started to go, "Oh my God!" And then we just kept listening to them until we stopped listening to them. And then they started to have some real problems at the governmental level. Like, oh, they're not. We tried to turn the heat up on the frog plate, and the frog jumped out. What do we do now? So yeah. Uh, let's see here. The militarists in the UK, people are getting arrested over Facebook posts. Yes, that's why I talk the militarists. I don't think you were around when I was having that conversation. Basically, my I've traced my roots all the way back to was it Somerset? And the I can never go there. The things that I've said online, specifically about the British government, about the United Kingdom, I would instantly be arrested the second my feet hit customs. But it is what it is. It really does suck because I've always wanted to visit that place. My family goes back to the 1300s there, and It's pretty crazy. Um, let's see here. And I still blame the media for the grocery rush. Oh, absolutely. No, don't panic. Ah! It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. All right, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and trudge along. We got about 15 more minutes left. I think I've got enough content to cover that. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Looks like there's about 15 of you in here. That's not bad for this. It's the afternoon rush. All right, so privacy and data protection. So, using prepaid cards or gift cards for sensitive transactions minimizes tracking by the MCCs or the social credit system. Now, these payment methods obscure purchase details, reducing the risk of profiling. For example, buying over the counter medications with a prepaid card prevents health data from being linked to an individual's identity. Individuals should store these cards securely to avoid loss or theft because basically they're money. Now, another thing we need to do is avoid the linkage of all accounts to a single digital identity because it limits the ability of the governments or hackers to track spending comprehensively. For instance, using separate email addresses for banking, shopping, or social media reduces the risk of cross platform data aggregation. If you do this, put a one in the chat. If everything in your life goes to a single email, everything that you do financially goes to a single email. Put a number two in the chat because honest answers only, guys. Honest answers only. All right, let's see. Let's see. Individuals should also avoid oversharing personal information on public platforms to prevent data harvesting. Which is ironic because I just asked you to do something like that, but it's benign. Another thing we can do is regularly check for data breaches and securing devices with strong passwords and two-factor authentication, which protects financial accounts from unauthorized access. If you don't have two-factor authentication on anything that is financial, you are making a huge mistake. All right, so tools like Have I Been Tuned can alert individuals to compromised accounts, while password managers ensure unique, complex passwords for each service. Now, updating software promptly also closes vulnerabilities that hackers could exploit. Yeah, those are things. Those are things. All right, let's see here. What do we got? We got ones, we got twos. So some people are doing it hard, some people are doing it not so hard. I have 5 emails. I have several email addresses. I mean, but I use certain email addresses for certain things. That's just the smartest thing to do. The thing is, you got to pay attention to them. Otherwise, you might get a message that says, "Hey, we've done this, and you need to know about it." And you're like, "Do do 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 do." Somewhere in Texas. Good to see you. Good to see you. Somewhere in West Texas. Somewhere in West Texas. I periodically go through and delete cards that Amazon captures, even though I don't ask it to keep. Same with Shop App and eBay. Yeah, I got you. I mean, it's called doing the work. You got to do the work. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. All right, let's see if this populates. All right, and as usual, the chat is not populating for whatever reason. It's only picking up brand new stuff, and that's A-OK with me. All right, guys. I've got to get dinner started. We're having chicken Alfredo and broccoli, and I'm going to make some fancy little bread tasty things because these are all the delicious foods that I love so much. And if I'm gonna get that done, then I got to get started now, guys. I've got to get started now. All right, guys, that's going to be about it for today. I want to thank you guys all for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. Also, if you're not a member, you don't know that there's a membership program that has so many benefits. And we did not meet our goal today. So, yeah, I can't talk to you about the giveaway. And it's just going to be that way. So, all right, guys, I've been a while, Beavering. There you go. There you go. All right, guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door, and I shall talk to you, I don't know, tomorrow or something. Oh, wait, I dropped a video, I think at like 1 o'clock today. Go back and, here, hold on. Cashless society. No, that's not it. Give me a second here. Why is it doing this? Why is this thing? There we go. Cashless takeovers, videos, blah, 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 blah. Let's do that one and I'll get you that link. All right, guys, here's the link to the video here's the link to your video homework today. Go forth and do good things. We shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.